So for the project, I want to point you to a new project here. And so if I go to the top of the page and then projects, I just added this today because I've told you before I had a problem with Drozer. We learn how to find these things like content providers and services and stuff, but I never found any real apps that had these vulnerabilities. And I said, well, maybe Drozer doesn't matter anymore, but today I found one. So I'll point you to this Somnote. I went through the apps we've already been using, and I tested Somnote, and it's got a vulnerability that you can reach with Drozer. And so I thought that's pretty awesome. Now, I haven't notified them about this specific vulnerability, but I notified them about a more important one 5 years ago, and they totally ignored me. And as far as I can tell, they seem to be out of business. I tried to create a new account, and it won't let you do it. So I think this company is sort of dead or something, and I don't think there's any need to pretend to notify them about this. I highly doubt they're going to do anything about it, but it is pretty awesome. So let me show you what I've got here. I'm going to move this to the side and get my phone there. All right. So this Somnote thing, you can't, it's a kind of screwy app. Now let me just remove it and put it on fresh so I don't keep the old stuff I've done here. If I go into Google Play, you can go to My Apps and Games, and you can see your installed apps here. So I can find Somnote, and I can uninstall it. Then I can install it fresh, so it doesn't go to remember anything from the past, which is what I wanted. All right. So there it is. Now if I run this, it's going to ask me for some permissions, storage, contacts, and phone. So I'll give it whatever permissions it wants to get it going. Allow, allow, and allow. I don't know why it didn't ask me that at install time, but that's probably more of this being kind of an unprofessional app. And now I can log in various ways. I can try to log in with email and make an account, but none of that works. But you can just close the login page and get some of the functionality without logging in. VIP privileges spelled wrong, another clue that you're not dealing with the top drawer app here. So here I am. Now I can get started with Somnote. And you can make notes. That's the point of this thing. You can hit the plus, and I can put secret information in my here. And I think, I have no idea, by the way, what good this thing is. I think it's like Dropbox. If you make an account, you can type in notes, and then it will go to some server, and I guess you can read it elsewhere or something. Anyway, the point, obviously, is that somebody thinks they're writing information and saving it in here, and they probably don't believe that this information would be shared with other apps on the phone. They certainly don't say it's going to share it with other apps on the phone. But as you'll see, it does. So I've now stored some secret information inside Somnote, and you can steal it from Drozer. So just like before, I've got the Drozer agent running, listening on 31415, and so I can go here. Let me, here's my command line with Drozer, and all right, good, there's my Drozer. So the first thing you need is you need the path to the app. So that's this run app package list. And then you can look for anything containing SOM because it's called Somnote. And there you go, that is the name of it, com.somcloud.somnote. So you can get the attack surface. And what I did is I just tried the attack surface of several apps already installed on my phone, and this time I found one, so I'm feeling better about Drozer. So notice 21 activities exported, biggest number I've ever seen. Everything, services, content providers, broadcast receivers, lots of things are exported. And in fact, if you want to see the activities, it's run app.activities. maybe activity. We'll see if this works. Activities.info minus a SomCloud. Might be activity. I'm not sure it's activity or activities. We're going to see. Probably activity then. Yeah, and there are a bunch of them. And I tried triggering a bunch of these, but none of them went anywhere interesting. I thought a few of them might be interesting, like folder edit and file edit. But in fact, let me try this. This is stuff I did not try earlier after making a, what I saw was just blank pages. Note edit. I wonder what would happen if I activated this note edit. But I've got notes here. Let me get my notes, because this is not the one I wrote into the project, but I think it would be interesting. To run an activity, it is this one. Run app activity start component. Okay, I should be able to do this. Let me make a, prepare it in a text file, because the command is long and I get confused. So I start with this stuff. Run app activity start component. And for a component, you start with the name of the app, which is SomCloud SomNote. And then you put the name of the activity you're trying to hit. And that's here. There. And so this note edit activity, I wonder what would happen. I think I remember what's going to happen is you're just going to complain. There. Note edit activity. When I do that, oh, this is not the command line. That's just my text editor. I need to put it in here. And now I get new note. So I don't know a way to open the old note here, although if you read the source code, you might be able to figure out how to send a parameter here and edit the existing note. So I was able to open this page from Drozer, but there's nothing really secret on that page. All right, and let me close the app. If I hit the square, I can see the apps, and I can close this one with the X. I can close these other things too. Might as well. All right, and now I should be able to run the activity even when the app is not running. It should pop up and show me that page. So I can get to certain pages, but I couldn't find a page here that revealed any secrets. So I didn't include that in the project, but that's what I did to audit it. But what I did find was a content provider that you could exploit. So this is the so we saw the attack surface had one content provider exported, and this is how you see more information about the provider. And so, yes. Maybe something is going to freeze and die on me now. Well, what I'm supposed to see is this stuff here. Let me see if I can figure out what the problem is. Maybe I need to reboot my phone or something. Control C. All right. Is the phone dead? The phone is not dead. All right, maybe by launching directly into those things I somehow confused it. Let's go back to this one. All right, well, I don't like my demo fooling up. I'm going to reboot the phone. Let's just kill the phone and see if that does it. I've got my Genymotion here, and it's this phone. Let's see if rebooting the phone will get us back in action. Stopping and starting the Drozer client might have been all that was needed too, but anyway. This is the kind of stuff you have to do a lot with these Android emulators and virtual machines and all these connections. It's all pretty flaky. It doesn't like my DHCP server. This may have something to do with my Wi-Fi. All right, I might quit doing this live if I continue to have trouble. Let's see what my IP address I have. That's 192, so that's correct. Okay, so it's bridged directly to my wireless card, and it's trying to get a DHCP, which failed. So this may be something wrong with my local wireless, but anyway, now it worked. All right. And that might be, maybe there was some kind of temporary network problem, and that's what caused all this. I see some comments over here. Oh, that's done. Okay, good. All right, anyway. All right. So here we are again. All right, so let's go to the phone and check the IP address. Yes. All right, looks like something is not working. Okay, now it's moving. It's moving very slowly. Hopefully it'll get moving on me here. Okay, IP. Okay, it's very slow, but it is moving. 192.168.112. Okay, ADB, devices, -L. It says I'm connected. Let's see if I can do an ADB shell. I can. Okay, so it is connected. So I should be able to do a Drozer console connect. It's probably up here. Yep. Okay, I need to do the ADB forward then. Okay. Now I should be able to do Drozer console connect. Nope, still no. Oh, I forgot to launch the Drozer agent. So Drozer agent. Now it's on. Now let's try this. And there we go. Okay, so now I might be back in business. And I wanted to do this to see the content provider info. There we are. There we go. So now you can see that there is one content provider with this name, and it's the SOM note provider. And notice that read permission is null and write permission is null. And this is what they forgot to make some permission required to read the database. So I should be able to just ask the database to show me the notes from Drozer. And that turns out to be the case. Now, you may remember from before, you have to find the URLs. So here's the command that finds URIs, or URIs they call them, which is the paths to the data. And there it goes. Here's the 4 accessible content URIs. And one is folders, and one is notes, and then there's one with and without the slash. And I don't think it matters, because in the lecture we talked about one where they put permissions on the thing without a slash, but the one with a slash didn't have permission. And in this case, they forgot to put permissions on any of them. So we can just use the most direct one, which is just an app provider query to just go to one of those contents. And so if I go to the notes, it shows me the secret information. So it's bloody awesome. This is doing what they said that I think Samsung was doing in 2012. They're collecting data for the app, sticking it somewhere, and just leaving it wide open so any app on the phone can see it. And I think they just don't know that. So this is insecure direct object reference, something like that. And I thought it pretty awesome. An actual vulnerability of some significance that you find with Drozer. So now that I've found one, I might be able to find more. I can go back and start auditing more apps, see if I can find some more of these. And there's another project I wanted to mention, which I promised you last time, and I got it working after class, which is bloody awesome. If you go to the projects, Trojaning an Android app with Metasploit. This is one I had before. This one here, by the way, you should do pretty fast. if you want to succeed, this will be easier if you do it quickly. So let me just explain it. The point of this is you get an app, and it can be any. These are the 6 apps I found that were vulnerable. I tested about 50 apps, and I found 6 that were vulnerable. The Wall Street Journal, USA Today, DuckDuckGo, Waze. And these are not necessarily design defects in these apps. All it means is these apps do not use any new features. And so APK Tool will work on these apps correctly. Most apps, APK Tool doesn't work. They update APK Tool about every 6 months. And that's why I say if you wait a few months before doing this, more of those apps will not work. Anyway, I made archived copies of the old apps, though, so you could probably use those if these fail. So you, anyway, now you can use Metasploit directly. You have to get the latest version of APK Tool, which you can get with these commands. And then you pull the app from the phone with ADB shell and ADB pull to where you get a copy of the app. And then you use Metasploit to just put malware in the app. It's bloody awesome. Metasploit, it's dependent on APK Tool, and APK Tool does not work all the time. But when it works, it's a completely automatic process. With this command, it will read the existing app that you pulled from the phone. It will add malware to it, as specified here, and this is going to be a Meterpreter reverse shell that calls to a command and control center over here, the IP address of my Kali machine, and then it's going to create a new Android app with a different name, and so I called it USA Pwned. This is the USA Today app. It's going to have the entire functionality of the original app plus malware inside it, which is bloody awesome. It's a totally automatic process, and when you're done, you have the new thing, and you can just take that new APK and put it on the phone. You start a command and control center on your Kali, and now you put the malware on the phone. You have to uninstall the original app and then drag the Poison app in, or you can serve it up through a web server, which is the way I wrote it here, which is the way you would do it remotely. You serve it through a web server, and then you send somebody a link to click or something where they download it. You can download an app from the browser on the phone and install it, and as soon as they run that app, you'll get a reverse shell onto the Android phone. This is the same way you take over servers and desktop computers with malware. And the last thing we mentioned when we talked about this last time was that, of course, antivirus should stop it. And I tested it, and that worked. I put Avast antivirus on there, and it immediately found all these poisoned apps. Found the exact, here's USA Pwned, here's San Pwned, here's, as I said, it just like on Windows, your Android antivirus will totally catch these Metasploit payloads because it's a well-known tool, and they should. If they couldn't catch it, that would be terrible. So anyway, that's a good project. I highly recommend it, 411. And it will, as time passes and these apps get updated, APK Tool will not work as well, and more of them will not work. But you might be able to do it later by using the old versions of the apps. Anyway, those are the new projects I wanted to point you to. And the last thing was I got a pile of iPhones. There was a student 2 days ago that said they were able to get a free online simulated iPhone, but then they found out that you get it for some useless amount of time, like 1 hour. So you're going to need a real iPhone if you want to do the iPhone projects. Now, they're all extra credit because some students will not be able to get an iPhone. But if you do want to start hacking iPhones, which I highly recommend, you need to get an iPhone. You can just buy one. I put it in the first project here. If you go here, I just put a link to the top to Swappa. I go to Swappa. You can get used iPhones. I've got a ton of them there. I paid about $60 for a 5S or a 6, which is the oldest phone that works for these projects. And I got a stack of iPhones, and I can loan them out to students. I walk down to the college every day. I can meet people down there and loan you an iPhone if you like. Or you can just buy an iPhone if you want to do these iPhone projects. If you don't want to do either of those things, you can just skip this and do only the Android part. But pretty soon we're going to be up to the iPhone part, and I think you don't want to miss it because iPhones are really important. Android's probably more, Android and iPhone, that's it. Anyway, so if you want to borrow an iPhone, let me know. I've got 5 of them and a couple more coming. And if those go, I might buy more. And anyway, I thought I'd mention it now. You can order a phone now if you like. When I order them, it takes 3 or 4 days to come in. They're used phones. I've had no trouble with them. They're very good. Yep, if you want one. Good, I see somebody wants one. Yeah, so you can't send private messages to Twitch. If you want one, why don't you come over to Zoom, and then I can get like your name or something and make a list, and we can just arrange a time. Tomorrow is Thursday. I walk down to the college every day. I'll probably be down there at about 9:30 tomorrow morning. So if you want a phone, I'll take a pile of them down there at 9:30 tomorrow morning. What I do is I go down there and eat breakfast outside Phil's. So you can just meet me down there and let me know if you want to either buy or borrow one. Or you can just order one online, but if you want one for me, I'll be there. I've got some phones and cables, and I'll bring them down. This is, yeah. So let's see, how about an iPhone? Yep, that's right. Yeah, yeah, you have, yeah. So yeah, just show up and pick one up if you like. You know where Phil's is, right? Yep, if you want to meet me, in fact, let me bring up maps here. In case anybody doesn't know, if you go to City College, the 4S does not work. That's a very good question. Let me just start. Okay, so here's City College, and here's the Science Building, and I will be right, here's Whole Foods, and Beeps, and Phil's is there. So what I do is I sit in this little park out here. So you go to the multi-use building and walk around to the left in the bus stop, and I'll be right out there. Yeah, in front of Whole Foods, there is a 1 block closer to the college than Whole Foods. This is the bus station. And right here, there's a little park. That's where I'll be. I sit outside there. And, all right. Yeah, if you know the Phil's, just come and meet me at Phil's. I'll be there at 9:30 tomorrow morning. I leave here at 8 and walk down there. Yep, waiting in the park to give away phones. Yeah, well, you want to know what's shady? I was going to China, and I wanted some Chinese currency. So I went online and saw who would give you Chinese currency. And the first person that said he would exchange American for Chinese said, just bring a pile of cash, and I will be standing in the BART station. And I'll trade you for thousands of dollars of Chinese money, like right there. And I said, I don't think I'll do that. And there was another people who had like an actual office you could walk into a few blocks away. That's where I went. You know. Anyway, I'll have 5 phones tomorrow. If more than 5 people show up, then I won't have enough for everybody. But anyway, I'll have 5 tomorrow, and I got 2 more coming. And if I need to get more, I can get more. Anyway, good. There was some other question. Let's see. There's not anything else I thought I should show you, but, oh, am I still recording? I'll stop recording.